All right, man, peace. So, brothers, this is going to be another entry into the series that I have called Know Who You're Living With. And to be quite frank with you, brothers, not only should you know who you're living with, but you must know why you're living with them. I like this series because it really shows how different the dynamics of a relationship can be and oftentimes are when you're living with someone as opposed to just quote unquote dating them. And that's why I always like to harp on the fact that you have to take your time with these women, because many of these women know that they're dealing with psychological issues, i.e. demons per se, and they do a relatively good job of hiding them until they feel like they're in a position of authority or power over you. And let me make this very clear. A lot of brothers have demons on them that they have to move past or try to cure before you live with someone. So the same thing applies to ourselves. We have to know a lot about ourselves before we decide to move in with someone. Because why cause any type of affliction on another person who you have not allowed to see various aspects of your personality, and you're going to harm them and then harm yourself in the long run? Point being is this. For a lot of cats who all they've known is living with their mother or living with their parents, in my view, and that's all this is my view, my perspective, you should not go directly from your mother's place to moving in with a woman. You should have spent some time living on your own, understanding how to pay bills, mortgage, rent, utilities, what have you, learning how to budget your money, how to make sure that you know how to furnish your own apartment or house, basic things like that oftentimes brothers don't take the time to learn or invest certain time in themselves so that they can be an asset to someone else. You can't be in a real relationship with someone else if you don't even know how to function on your own. So sometimes you end up moving in with someone and you're not even mature enough to be able to assist somebody else with the issues that they have, because you have your own issues and we have to deal with our own issues before we help anybody else. Point being is this, and I've said this numerous times on this channel, before you move in with a woman, you should not move in with her unless you have enough money to provide for your share of the utilities and the rent and mortgage in the home that you're going to be living in with her, and also have your own place on the side. I'm just going to keep it real with you. You should be able to have your own apartment on the side as well as living with that person, because you never know when things are going to turn left, and you never know what side or what aspect of a person they're going to show you once you're living with them. And that brings us to this court case right here. This brother's name is Sergio Thornton. He's going to tell you about his experiences with the young lady that he was with, the defendant. So of course they're going to talk about it, and I'm going to chime in.
Sergio Thornton says he dated the defendant for 2 years before moving in together, and that's when everything changed.
Now, brothers, did you hear that? The narrator stated that this cat was dating the defendant, his girlfriend, for 2 years, which is a pretty good amount of time before he decided to, quote unquote, take the plunge and move in with her. But still, there were certain aspects of her personality that he was not aware of. Either he was not aware of them or he ignored them. And that's another problem that brothers oftentimes have. The so-called black man is raised to believe, and I've stated this numerous times, that relationships oftentimes are based on that arguing and make-up dynamic of allowing yourself to be disrespected by the woman. Or sometimes you feel like you can disrespect the woman. And the fact of the matter is that if both of you don't know how to have constructive communication, the shit ain't gonna work. That's the bottom line of it. It's not gonna work. If everything is about calling your quote unquote significant other out of their name or going back and forth, having knockdown, drag out fights, it's not gonna be beneficial. So you have to be able to peep that early. You shouldn't have to move in with someone for them to reveal their demon to the point where you never saw it before. You have to be very perceptive. You have to pay attention to what's going on around you.
Sergio claims the defendant constantly accused him of cheating and threw bleach on him. He's suing for personal property. Defendant Jillian Johnson insists Sergio cheated on her with 4 different women, including her own sister.
Let me say this as well, brothers. According to the narrator, the defendant here is accusing the plaintiff of quote unquote cheating on her with 4 different women. If you know in your heart that you're not a quote unquote one woman man, if you know in your heart that you're not ready to quote unquote settle down, do not move in with the woman. All right? That's foolishness. Now, sometimes you have the main woman and you don't want to lose her. So you try to convince yourself that you're going to be able to move in with her and not deal with the thotties on the side. That's why I state it's always best to be honest about what you're doing so that they cannot play the victim card, which is the favorite card of the modern day woman. It's incumbent upon you to be real about it. Be real with yourself and then be real with her. You can't be real with anybody else if you're not being real with her. So you let them know, look, I think that a man should be able to have more than one woman. If she says, I don't agree with that or I don't believe that, no problem. Then you guys discuss it from there where you want to go. If you're somebody who says, I think that a man can have more than one woman, but I'm tired of dealing with all of these lower level women, and this woman is a woman of stellar character. She's upright. She's concerned with my well-being. She understands that it's important to make sure that I'm happy. Then you might want to forsake those other women for her. That's something for you to discuss with the woman. At the end of the day, do not move in with a woman and try to put on this facade that you're a one-woman man when you know that you're not. It's only going to lead to affliction.
Jillian is countersuing Sergio for emotional distress.
All right, start with you.
Me and Jillian met like 2015. We started dating or whatever. 2017, we said that
Took you that long to date?
No, I'm saying we were dating from 15 up to 7. When 2017 came, we agreed to move.
Okay, I thought you might have been a little quicker than that.
Way quicker than that.
Right, I know you're no prize, but I thought at least.
Why you gonna get at the man like that? Maybe he has a lot of personality.
You would be able to get a date within 2 years with the woman. Go ahead.
Yeah, so once we moved in together, you know, everything changed, you know.
No, it wasn't that everything changed once you moved in with her. It's that she felt empowered over you, and you were not perceptive enough to grasp the signs that she was showing you before you moved in with her. You probably tried to ignore them. Once again, brothers, pay attention to the signs. Pay attention to the signs that other people show you. We have to pay attention to the signs that we show ourselves, because a lot of times there's things about ourselves that we need to improve upon. All we can change is ourselves. We can't change anybody else. So when a person shows you who they are, you have to react and respond to it. You can't ignore it. It's like having a toothache or some type of tumor. If you ignore it, it's only going to get worse.
All the drama.
Like what?
Like, she always accuses me of cheating. It's always something, you know what I mean?
2 years seems to be enough time for her to know you, and you ought to move in together and perhaps even marry.
Right, but was 2 years enough time for him to get to know her? It depends on his intellectual capabilities, his cognitive function, how perceptive he was, how intuitive he was, and how interested he was in seriously being serious. Every time somebody says that they're in a serious relationship, it does not mean that they're taking it seriously. Sometimes they're in a serious relationship and they're just going along for the ride. And their attitude is, you know what? I have nothing else better to do.
Unless she changed because you didn't know her.
Yeah, it had to be that.
Ding. Let me rewind this back a little bit.
It had to be that.
Enough time for her to know you, and you ought to move in together and perhaps even marry. Unless she changed because you didn't know her.
Yeah.
Or didn't want to know her. Maybe he was just good with what they were getting and he said, you know what? I just want to keep this around. I'll move in with the chick. I'm paying less living with her than I am living by myself. Or maybe he just wanted to get out of his mother's house. Who the hell knows?
It had to be that, but it always was like I always got accused for cheating. You know what I mean? She
ever
mad.
catch you cheating?
Nope.
Huh.
She ain't catch me.
You catch her cheating?
Nah. I wasn't, nah.
Why'd you?
Brothers, let me say this. If you're always getting quote unquote accused of cheating, then you have to decide if you want to remain with that person. Because that means that the person has a lot of issues within themselves, most likely a lot of insecurity issues and low self-esteem issues. Low self-esteem, I'm going to say this very quickly and I'll probably be going over this in other videos. Low self-esteem cannot be changed. Okay? Self-esteem is a gift like every other gift that we get from the Most High. And it can be cultivated based on how well you're raised. But by the time a person is an adult, if they have low self-esteem, that's where it's going to stay. Okay? Now, there are different levels of low self-esteem, just like people who have high self-esteem. It's easier to make people lose self-esteem than it is to help them gain it. When somebody has insecurity issues and baggage from previous relationships or happenstances, scenarios that occurred in their life, and they're carrying that over to you, you have to determine if it's worth dealing with. Because if you know that you're not stepping out and you're not doing anything and you're constantly being accused, after a while, it's only going to ratchet up because it's a self-esteem issue with that person. It's not even that they're that suspicious. They're just suffering from low self-esteem. And that can be an offshoot of a myriad of things. Maybe they were bullied. Maybe they were not loved properly by their parents. Maybe there were situations that they went through growing up. But you have to decide if you think that this is going to be a situation that you can redeem, that this is a person that you can help. Because a lot of these women have all types of sob stories. But the main thing that a low self-esteem person has is an obsessive compulsion to cause drama.
How'd you all break up? Give me the breakup point.
The breakup point was she came home from work early one day, and then once I was in there taking a shower. Her sister was living with us at the time. So her sister living with us. I'm in the shower, sister in the room or whatever. She come home from work early. She accused that me and her sister was, you know what I mean?
And how did that turn out with her?
Big argument. She tried to jump on me. I run. You know, I pushed the move.
Say
the sister told her she tripping. Everybody knows she like, you know what I mean?
Right, but what exactly is the sister going to say? When you guys hear this situation, I can understand why the defendant thought that they were doing something. I mean, let's be very, very clear. But she brought that issue into her own household. You know, I'll probably cover this in other videos, but you know, I've touched on it in previous videos. You have to be very, very careful when it comes to your relationship. All right. Your relationship is like a flower. You have to give it light and you got to water it. You can't just have a flower growing up in a garden around weeds. You can't have a special flower sprouting in a garden around regular flowers. All your relationships in your life have a different dynamic, man. If you have more than one woman, the dynamic in the relationship with your women is going to be different based on the woman, because different people have different energies. I say all that to say this: for this woman, the defendant, to move her sister into her home, who knows what's going on in people's minds and in their spirit and in their heart. Sometimes people want to bring entropy into your life just because they get pleasure from it.
Me?
Let me hear from you, ma'am.
I met Sergio. I thought Sergio was the man of my dreams. We really connected on a spiritual basis, talking about politics and God. And then I soon found out that Sergio is nothing but a hoe. This man got the whole Wakanda squad. He cheating with the whole Wakanda squad, and they after me. They still black and bald-headed, just no spears.
Wow.
Isn't that one of these liberal black women obsessed with that film Black Panther? Hey, you know what? Let's take some of them extensions out your hair. Let's see how your damn hairline look. Probably going up and down all throughout the damn courtroom, look like Michael Jordan.
What'd she say?
That's what I was telling you about it. That's what I was telling you about it. It's all
The whole
in my
Wakanda
head.
squad, and now they're attacking me. And so I'm going through emotional distress.
How many
It's
women
4 of
are
them,
And they're all bald headed.
and they're all black and bald-headed. Yes, sir.
There you go. There you go.
Oh, that chick is funny. Look, man, once again, brothers, if you know that you're not a one-woman person, don't try to convince the main chick that you're going to be a one-woman person when you move in. A lot of times the woman will allow you to create a pretext of falsehood just so that she can sit back in a position of power. And you're going to be the one that has to live up to what you're saying. And when you fail, then she can castigate you and she can go into her victimhood and claim that you're a no good man or a deadbeat or whatever. So be honest with yourself. Always remember, everything in the flesh is temporary. I don't care what it is. The only thing permanent is what occurs in the spirit world. The only thing permanent is the Most High. Be real with yourself and be real with the woman.
Here's how the Wakanda women look. For the movie Black Panther. Bald and beautiful.
Without the spears.
I don't know how beautiful they was. They was bald, though.
These girls.
Well, you should be thankful for that. They're not coming at you with spears.
And I just don't trust him anymore. He made me look completely ridiculous in front of my whole community.
How?
Let me say this, and I stated this already. She never trusted him in the first place. I'm not quite sure if he did something with her sister or with all these other women like she's stating, but where there's smoke, there's fire. And at the end of the day, if you're with a female that strongly believes in monogamy, you're going to have to be able to discern if it's worth it. What is going to be stronger? You wanting to maintain a relationship with her, or you wanting to do your thing? You're going to have to factor in a whole bunch of different dynamics. Where are you in your life? Do you prefer to be by yourself at this moment in your life? Are you not looking for anything that serious? Do you trust the female that you call your so-called main chick? All these things you have to weigh in the balance, man, because at the end of the day, if you try to live a life that you're not really about in regards to relationships and try to act like you only want one woman when you really know you want more, it's going to blow up in your face, man.
Kyle, tell me.
Just by trying to be an upstanding citizen, you know, working in my community, helping other people, I can see people whispering, talking about me. He's still having conversations with all these women. He says that he's not. They're calling my phone just when I was up here now.
Why don't we back up and put it in perspective? So, at what point did you discover he was seeing other women?
Well, from the beginning, I caught just little Snapchats, messengers from different girls.
Didn't you say you all were spiritual?
Yeah.
Maybe they was asking them to go to church with y'all.
Exactly. And the thing is, she done throw bleach on me, Your Honor. This lady done throw bleach on me.
You're not
Let me say this. And oftentimes, when you hear these situations on these television shows, a dude will talk about how a chick threw a rock through his window, keyed his car, slid his tires, threw bleach on his clothes, threw bleach on him, tried to set him on fire. People think that it's a big joke. Brothers, when a woman starts coming out of her mouth even to threaten you in that way, you have to get rid of her immediately. Immediately. That's why I stay early on. When you're talking to a female on the phone and she starts making little threats that she hides as a joke. Oh, if you ever talk to another woman, blah, blah, blah. You got to cut that broad off. Right? You have to nip shit in the bud. People are just like animals. And don't get it twisted. I'm not saying that people are animals. But they can be trained. When people see that you're not going to tolerate their bullshit, they will change their conduct, at the very least around you. And if they're not willing to do that, then they have to go. Have a nice day. You're the one in control of your life. You're in control of your environment. You're in control of your atmosphere, not anybody else. You get what you tolerate.
You done messed up 4 good Christians.
But when she sent his video, when
you
she
were going to church with him until you messed him up.
That's not Christian life. Sorry.
First time it started, you said something to him. What did he say?
No evidence. I can't prove it.
Next time.
No evidence.
How long after did the second time occur?
It was 2000. It was probably a year before the second one occurred. The first girlfriend, he had to throw away his phone, and we had to change our numbers.
See, brothers, you're doing all that shit. You might as well just bow out of the game. All right? Either that or move out of the house and go back to doing you. All that is just silly shit. That's why I filed this under the series of Know Who You're Living With. A lot of times it's because the man does not know the woman. Sometimes it's because you don't know yourself, man. Be real with yourself. Don't waste your own time. Don't waste the woman's time. If you know that you're dealing with a chick, for example, let's say you're a brother that, you know, you're dealing with things on a higher level. And you decide that you want to try to be in a relationship with a female that is a super liberal woman. You can't get mad at her when you find out that she's into Wicca or that she believes in transgenders and homosexual rights and things of that nature. You get what you pay for.
So that girl has just came back.
So she was stalking it.
That's what I'm stalking.
That's what I be trying to tell her.
Well, you are a prize. Forgive me. Hey, man. Forgive my
She's still stalking me to this day, Your Honor.
All right. And the last time you all had an incident, what had occurred? Tell me what occurred?
High speed.
I came home from work, and my sister was at the apartment. And I feel like they were sleeping together. She had on no bra, just pajamas sitting on the edge of the bed, and he was in the bathroom with the bathroom door shut.
Let me say this very quickly. As she herself is testifying, if you come home and your immediate relative is taking a shower with the door ajar and your so-called significant other is sitting on the edge of the bed, half nude or what have you as she's describing it, of course, you're going to assume that something went down. So I cannot get upset with her for coming to that assumption.
At our bed, me and his bed.
You all don't have a couch?
We have a couch, but they decided to use the bed.
If I'm in the shower...
Were you sitting on the bed?
No, I'm in the shower.
Was the woman sitting on the bed?
I don't know where she was, the door was closed.
When you came out, where was she?
She was in front of her face. They were talking.
So when he came out the shower, you were already speaking with your sister.
Yes.
So it could have been that he didn't know where she was when he got into the shower. She could have been on the couch in the den. When he goes in the shower, she comes to sit on the bed.
So is your
Right, but that makes no sense, Judge Mathis. Why would you not at least respect someone who you know is in a relationship with your immediate family member to say, I'm going to stay out of that room because there's a bubble around that relationship that I don't want to infract upon? That's not making any sense. Let me rewind this back to go over what he said again.
So is your brother?
So when he came out the shower, you were already speaking with your sister.
Yes.
So it could have been that he didn't know where she was when he got into the shower. She could have been on the couch in the den. When he goes in the shower, she comes to sit on the bed.
So is your brother close to your wife like that?
It was her idea to let her sister move in.
There's nobody.
It was her idea to let her sister move
My
in.
family don't even like him that much.
Let me
family doesn't even like
straighten something out.
Mm-hmm.
Don't mention my wife or my relatives. All right? You don't want me to go there with you and your family.
That's fine.
No, it won't be fine. It won't be a nice thing.
Now, Judge Mathis is catching feelings right now because she flipped the same scenario on him that he tried to put on her. The same way that he's feeling right now about how he feels like she's trying to disrespect his wife and his family. That's what should have occurred to him before he put forth that ridiculous scenario. Once again, brother, this is not a gender war channel, so I'm not here to always take the guy's side. My thing is to always understand that we as men, we have to hold ourselves to a higher level of responsibility and conduct because the man is the head. At the end of the day, ain't none of us perfect. We all gonna fuck up. That's a part of life. But we can keep ourselves out of a lot of dumb shit by being honest with ourselves and being honest with the woman. At the end of the day, you put the Most High first, and you'll find out that a lot of the problems that you think you have that are major, they're not really that major.
I promise you, back up, back away.
That's what I was dealing with.
I see.
She
She went wrong that time, doctor.
Yeah,
She talked about the wrong wife that time.
She talk about the wrong wife that time, doctor. Well, hey, Judge Mathis, where's your wife right now? I mean, if we're going to go there, I mean, shit. A lot of these people in Hollywood, they talk all that shit, trying to act like their marriage is so intact, and they're the biggest swingers, pansexuals and everything. It is what it is. Point being is this. Judge Mathis put forth a very ridiculous scenario to the defendant. The defendant, all she did was put a mirror up to Judge Mathis and ask him if he would accept a scenario like that, and he started to flip out. So it's obvious that he should not have put forth something that ridiculous to her. It is what it is.
Go ahead, tell me about this personal property you suing her for. Go ahead.
It's know-it-all. So she done throw bleach on me?
Threw bleach on you? What up?
You mean you tolerated getting bleach thrown on you? That's what you tolerated because you thought that shit was cute. You stayed with a woman that threw bleach on you. So what are you saying about yourself?
No bleach on me. She high-speed checked me in my vehicle.
What
You
else?
feel me? Then she changed the locks while I was at work.
What else?
And she claimed she put my clothes outside, but I still ain't reclaimed none of my clothes, none of my property.
Did you do any of that?
So let me get this straight. The broad threw bleach on you. She chased you down the highway in a high-speed chase. She changed the locks while you were gone. She made your clothes disappear. And let me guess what happened. You said, baby, you my ride or die bitch? That's what you said?
Any of this?
I did.
Your counterclaim, emotional distress is for what?
For looking like a fool in front of my
Okay, all right, you are a fool, so that's dismissed.
Judge Mathis still in his feelings because the chick brought up his wife.
Yours is granted. Have a good day.
But anyway, that's basically it on that. Once again, brothers, for you brothers who decide that you're going to make that move to live with a woman, please understand what you're getting into. Don't make decisions based off of pretense and then try to act like she did you dirty or she did you wrong. You have to understand the nature of the woman. The woman is capricious and whimsical by nature. And then on top of that, if you're going to try to play games, of course, you're going to see that that warrior maiden altar. And that's not something that you're going to want to have to tolerate because they allow women to throw these tantrums in this society. They allow them to flip out. And if a man flips out back in return, then you have to go through the Caucasian man's court system and his penitentiary system. So To be forewarned is to be forearmed. It is what it is. So peace.